Good afternoon or evening. My name is Patrick Dalton, and I am going to be doing the Interactive Advanced Concept presentation number 6, which is the pasta rocket experiment. So it's again today a very simple experiment that requires these tools. First here I have my mason jar, nice little mason jar here. However, I'm not going to be using the actual lid for this mason jar. I'm going to be using this piece of saran wrap. I'm going to wrap it around the mason jar, but I'll show you how shortly. I also have myself some hydrogen peroxide that I'll be using for this experiment. I have myself a pasta noodle here. This is a penne pasta noodle. You can use penne or ziti. Just make sure that the pasta noodle has a nice clear hole. And lastly, I have myself some instant yeast that we'll be using for this experiment. So let's begin. So for the first part, I have my mason jar here, and I'm just going to fill it up to about, I'd say, here with hydrogen peroxide. Now that I have my hydrogen peroxide in the mason jar, I'm going to now pour about a teaspoonful of the fast-acting yeast inside, and then I'm going to quickly cover it with the saran wrap. So I'll do that now. Have the saran wrap ready. Oops. Alright, so I'm just going to cover this with a bit of the saran wrap. Press some of the gas like so. Seal part of the sides off a bit. Now we're going to give this a quick swirl just to get the reaction going. And we're going to just jab this noodle through. So our noodle is there, and now we're going to light it with the lighter. There it goes. It's working. And now it's done. Nice. So I'll explain exactly what happened with this experiment now. So in this experiment, we begin with hydrogen peroxide. When we added the yeast became kind of like a catalyst. So it turned into a catalyst, which resulted in the breakdown of hydrogen peroxide, or 2H2O2. So 2H2O2, or hydrogen peroxide, turns into the products H2O and O2, or water and oxygen gas, respectively. So pretty much from this, the pasta becomes like a rocket engine as a result. So in our theoretical rocket engine here, the source of fuel is the pasta itself because it's a complex carbohydrate. And then the oxygen gas coming from the reaction between the yeast and the hydrogen peroxide becomes a oxidizer in this reaction. So both the pasta and the oxygen being produced by the reaction generate a pretty intense flame, as you saw from the. It's also important to note that what pushed this reaction along was the flame as well. With the flame requiring oxygen, it became created kind of a vacuum within the mason jar, with the flame being above. So it helped bring the oxygen up through the inside of the pasta noodle, which helped intensify the flame. So that is the pasta rocket experiment.